After Joseph, his brothers, and everyone else in that generation had died, the people of Israel became so numerous that the whole region of Goshen was full of them. Many years later, a new king came to power. He did not know what Joseph had done for Egypt, and he told the Egyptians, "There are too many of those Israelites in our country, and they are becoming more powerful than we are. If we don't outsmart them, their families will keep growing larger, and if our country goes to war, they could easily fight on the side of our enemies and escape from Egypt." The Egyptians put slave bosses in charge of the people of Israel and tried to wear them down with hard work. Those bosses forced them to build the cities of Pithom and Ramesses, where the king could store his supplies. But even though the Israelites were mistreated, their families grew larger, and they took over more land. Because of this, the Egyptians feared them worse than before, and made them work so hard that their lives were miserable. The Egyptians were cruel to the people of Israel, and forced them to make bricks, and to mix mortar, and to work in the fields. The king of Egypt, fearing the growing population of Israelites, orders Hebrew midwives to kill all male infants at birth. However, the midwives, fearing God, disobey the king's command and let the boys live. When questioned by the king about their actions, the midwives claim that Hebrew women give birth before they can arrive. As a result, God blesses the midwives for their faithfulness, and the Israelite population continues to increase. A man from the Levi tribe married a woman from the same tribe, and she later had a baby boy. He was a beautiful child, and she kept him inside for 3 months. But when she could no longer keep him hidden, she made a basket out of reeds and covered it with tar. She put him in the basket and placed it in the tall grass along the edge of the Nile River. The baby's older sister stood off at a distance to see what would happen to him. About that time, one of the king's daughters came down to take a bath in the river, while her servant women walked along the riverbank. She saw the basket in the tall grass and sent one of them to pull it out of the water. When the king's daughter opened the basket, she saw the baby crying and felt sorry for him. She said, "This must be one of the Hebrew babies." At once, the baby's older sister came up and asked, "Do you want me to get a Hebrew woman to take care of the baby for you?" "Yes," the king's daughter answered. So the girl brought the baby's mother, and the king's daughter told her, "Take care of this child and I will pay you." The baby's mother carried him home and took care of him. And when he was old enough, she took him to the king's daughter, who adopted him. She named him Moses because she said, "I pulled him out of the water." After Moses had grown up, he went out to where his own people were hard at work, and he saw an Egyptian beating one of them. Moses looked around to see if anyone was watching. Then he killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. When Moses went out the next day, he saw 2 Hebrews fighting. So he went to the man who had started the fight and asked, "Why are you beating up one of your own people?" The man answered, "Who put you in charge of us and made you our judge? Are you planning to kill me, just like you killed that Egyptian?" This frightened Moses, because he was sure that people must have found out what had happened. When the king heard what Moses had done, he wanted to kill him. But Moses escaped and went to the land of Midian. Moses encounters the daughters of the priest of Midian while at a well. He helps them water their flock and protects them from shepherds who try to drive them away. The girls return home early, and their father, Reuel, asks them how they managed to return so soon. They explain Moses' assistance, and Reuel invites him to their home. Moses stays with Reuel and marries one of his daughters, Zipporah. They have a son named Gershom. Meanwhile, in Egypt, the Israelites groan under their bondage, and God remembers his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He sees their suffering and prepares to act on their behalf.